Today we are going to go into ProEst and how to enhance your efficiencies and precisions. With that, a brief introduction about myself. My name is Ramsey. I am the Senior Applications Expert here with IMAGINiT's Building Solutions Division. My background is in construction, so I have years of experience in estimating as well as project engineering for commercial and federal projects. So today we're going to actually dive into, pretty much the functionalities in ProEst and how can it better your business workflows when it comes to estimating. We're going to go over things like the dashboard and all the different dashboards that are housed in there. We're also going to go over the database and what you can do to manipulate it to best fit your work practices. Also going to show you guys the estimate center and how you can build it in the multitude of ways. And then we'll wrap up with the reports. Reporting will be crucial to generate your proposals at the end of an estimate. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, perfect. So I'm here on my ProEst site, and as you can see, I have a multitude of dashboards here. So what this all is telling you and what the information that it's giving you is essentially anything pertaining to your estimate and any pertinent data that you need to see at a high level. So your tasks and events, maybe you have multiple estimators within your company working on the same project or many different projects. Any tasks you assign your fellow estimators will all be listed here. This is also a good way to keep track of, site visits and stuff like that, and even bid due dates, things like that. Over here to the right, you will also have the Open Estimates by Type tab. So currently in my system here, I have office building, healthcare, apartments, and my general tab there, type there. Because this is broken out like this, I'm able to see just what is my revenue winners, right? What am I performing well on? What is majority of my estimates revenue being generated from? So I can see here it's office building. So that's probably something I really want to put my emphasis on. From there, I can look at my open estimates by status. So currently, all my estimates are currently active. What this means is basically telling me that I don't have any closed estimates. I don't have any estimates won or lost. Usually, when it goes into one of those statuses, it'll show as closed, and then yeah, basically you can just gauge that. And then from there, you will see here some year-to-date by type and year-to-date by estimator. So how well are your types of estimates doing, and how well are your estimators doing in terms of revenue? So that's what the dashboard gives you, a really good high-level overview of your estimate center before actually even starting your day. From there now, let's go ahead and get into the database because it's going to be the backbone for all of your estimating within ProEst. So if you are used to using a database in the past, it's pretty similar to that. ProEst did a very good job of thinking things through based on prehistoric data. And you have a whole bunch of items that are already pre-generated for you. It's as simple as coming into your database and just cleaning up what you don't need. As a matter of fact, it might give you too much information rather than less information per se. But yeah, if I open up these folders, you can see what's housed in each of these folders. Like for example, I have my formwork here, and you'll see that the cubic yardage here is indicated for the units. And then I'll have the unit cost there as well. I also have a whole slew of things I can keep track of as well, square footage amounts like beam formwork and stuff like that. So you can get really detailed on a granular level. Now you might be wondering what all these items can do, right? Essentially. So aside from pushing it to your estimate and making them an estimate item, what I like to do is build assemblies from these items. So right here, if I go to my assemblies tab, what assemblies are in a nutshell are pretty much building assemblies based off of specific items within my database. So a good example that I always like to use is my 4-inch slab on grade estimate here, or assembly here. As you can see here, this is broken out. So the way this is set up is that I would go to my selected items, and then I would go to the items I would need, pull them into my my details there by hitting the plus sign, and then that's how I am populating all of this here. One unique thing to this is that, you know, if any of you guys have done concrete in the past, you'll know that it's not all division 3, right? Your assembly is going to be made up of a multitude of items, so you are going to have some division 3 stuff like reinforcing slab, mesh, and but your vapor barrier is going to be housed in division 7. So this items list here, or this assembly, will allow you to select from any division item list that you have listed there. So you are not limited in any capacity. You can really start, you know, building some detailed assemblies based off of all this information. Same thing here, as you can see, I have some termite control that's housed in division 10. So that's being brought into my assembly as an item as well. Aside from bringing in all of the items that make up my assembly, I have a whole slew of formulas that I can utilize to my benefit. Now, where these formulas will be applied, it will be applied on your takeoff. So as you are doing your takeoff, you will be able to see different variables come out of your takeoff. So things like slab area for your reinforcements, same thing for your vapor barrier. Then you have some more complicated ones like, you know, your concrete slab by pump divided into cubic yards here. And then you also have your gravel porous fill, stuff like that. So you can really start building these out for different units you wanted to spit out. That way, when you do one takeoff, it'll give you all these quantities within that one takeoff, which is really cool. So I've been talking a lot about estimates and takeoff. The way that this is housed right now, you have two options. So right here for the database, I can either push any of these database items to my estimate by hitting the plus sign, or I can push it to my takeoff and estimate by hitting the triangle protractor sign here. And this will then allow me to do a takeoff based off of these items there. I have some samples that I will go ahead and show you guys, but over here in assemblies, it's the same thing. If I built an assembly and I want to push it over to my estimate center, I would hit the plus sign, or I would hit the protractor sign to push it to my takeoff and estimate as well. So yeah, that segues us into the estimate center. So how are we building this estimate center here? There's a multitude of ways that you can build this here. As you can see, I have a multitude of items already in my estimates, but some of you guys might look at this and see it a little bit daunting because you'll see adding new item here, and then you might think, oh, do I have to add every single item like this? The answer is no. This is just one of many ways that you can go ahead and create your estimate. So I can go ahead and type in concrete here. And as you can see, it'll bring up my database right here in real time, and I can just select from my database and bring in an item. From there, I can go ahead and put in a quantity if I know it from the top of my head. Maybe this was 100 linear foot wall length. The wall height is probably 10. And then my rebar count, let's just say it was 8. And then if I wanted to go ahead and put in my spacing, I can. So maybe I had 10-foot spacing between each. There we go. Now I just put in an estimate item from scratch, just like that. Now, the other way to add an item here is to navigate to your takeoff. And your takeoff tool will pretty much allow you to add takeoff items similar to how you can do it with the estimate items. So from here, you'll just go ahead and type in concrete, let's say slab this time. Slab. And then from here, I'll just go ahead and use a unit. And from there, I'll just go ahead and save it. And first off, I have to go ahead and set my scale. So right here, what I like to do is zoom into my scale and set my scale there. 1 inch equals 30 feet. So we're on imperial. Yep, 1 equals 30 right there, and save that. So now that we have our scale set, we can now go ahead and add our concrete slab type and add it there. Now this will allow us to go ahead and do our takeoff. So let's go back to our sheet. And to perform the takeoff, we'll just go ahead and hit the measurements tool here. Yep. And then I'll have these crosshairs here, and I can go ahead and select the slab I'm trying to do a takeoff on. So maybe this one is a good one to start off with. Let's go ahead and do that. Yep, so you'll just select a point on each corner there. And to end the command, all you have to do is double click. That will then end the command and give you the square footage of that slab that you're trying to get. And now when I go ahead and navigate back to my estimate, you'll see that item has been added here at the bottom. Now I'm not done, I just have the quantity. I still have to put in a material cost. So let's just call this maybe $3 a square foot. And I even have a column where I can go ahead and put in my projected labor costs for the scope of work. If I know that unit costs, maybe it's $10 a square foot. And then I can really start to develop my estimate that way as well. So that is the second option you do have here to create an estimate item. And yeah, and then if we go ahead and navigate back to our database now, let's go ahead and push some items and assemblies over there as well. So this time, instead of concrete, let's go to division 9, finishes, and let's select our gypsum board here. And yeah, let's go ahead and add this one to our estimates. And let's add this one on the bottom to our takeoff end estimate. So that will be there. Now on the assembly side, I can go ahead and go into my finishes and look at my gypsum wall board assemblies. Let's open it up and check it out. All right, so you can see I even have my nails here, my taping, and my corner bead is all going to be calculated here. So that's perfect. That's my assembly. And from there, now all I have to do is push it to my takeoff. And maybe I want to add this as an estimate item there. All right, so now let's go ahead and navigate to our estimate center and back into our estimate. All right, so now you'll see these new items have been added pretty much instantly from the database page there. The reason why these are highlighted red right now is because we don't have a quantity, but we do have a unit cost. We just need to input that quantity. Now, there's a multitude of ways of adding the quantity, and I showed you that you can go ahead and enter it here. So maybe you have 1,000 linear foot like that, or you can go ahead and add it in your takeoff area. So let's go ahead and navigate it navigate to the takeoff area, and let's see what we have exactly built out for our assemblies. So from there, so let's go to a page that probably will make more sense, probably this A102. Let's go ahead and take a look at our scale. So we have 1/16 inch equals 1 foot. So let's go ahead and set that scale. There we go, and save. Perfect. So now let me go ahead and navigate back to this sheet I was just on. There we go. Right, so now I'm going to go ahead and zoom into an area that I am going to be doing my takeoff on. Whoops, we were on this drawing here. And let's go ahead and zoom right in. All right, so right here I have my gypsum wallboard assembly, and this is going to give me multiple measurements here as I'm navigating this. Let's go back to the sheet here. Zoom in. There we go. All right, so let's start off with the wall length, linear foot. So I'm going to just click around here, here, and here, and just end that command there. And that's my linear foot right there, 59, almost 60 linear foot there. And then here I can go ahead and add a height. So maybe we have 10 inch or 10 foot ceiling height. There we go. And then here is where I can go ahead and indicate if we have a double-sided wall, which it looks like we do. And so we can go ahead and put two-sided here, and then here, this is if we want to account for any corner bead or anything like that, we can go ahead and take off our corner bead just like this on each corner. All right, so just like that, this one takeoff assembly has garnered me everything I needed to know. So now I have a square footage. I took the wall height and the wall length and gave me a square footage of 1,195 and 60 cents, or 60 square foot. So if I go back to my estimate here, yep, you'll see that down there has been taken off. Now I have my my unit cost for the drywall, 1/2 inch thick nailed walls, and then I also have the taping square footage as well. And then I have my corner bead linear footage here as well, calculated based off of those formulas from before. So yeah, those are some of the ways that you can really start populating your estimate. It doesn't really take that long, and it just saves you a lot of time and hassle and money as well. So there you go. That's the estimate center. And now, last but not least, let's get into the reports. So the whole point of the ProEst system, or any estimating system for that matter, is to be able to generate a report, or maybe a proposal in particular, right? One that you can submit to bid on a project. So if I go ahead and navigate to my reports and I go to the proposals tab, and as you can see here, I have a whole slew of other reports I can generate as well for my own internal use. But yep, for this one, I think a custom report with division showing is going to suffice. So let's go ahead and generate that report and see what that looks like. Perfect. So here I have my report, and here we have our concrete assemblies there and items. We have our masonry, and then our drywall and thermal footing there. So yeah, from here I can go ahead now, and first off, if I ever want to generate it for another estimate, this is where I'll go ahead and type in that estimate, and then it will regenerate another report for you. But from here I have three options. I can go ahead and print it out as a physical file, or maybe even a PDF. I can Excel export it, or I can email it out to the owner's rep or whoever is accepting the bid directly straight here from ProEst, which is really neat. if I were to go ahead and print it, this is what it'll come out to be. It's just a regular PDF with all of your quantities and totals and everything that you need. And then the Excel spreadsheet is going to turn out something like this. Yep, just like this, which people like as well because they can make manual adjustments to this estimate proposal before submitting it. Maybe you want to add some markup to some of these line items, whatever the case might be. You have the Excel option there as well. So yeah, those are the export mechanisms, and that's how you can pretty much generate reports. You do have a report builder here, which in your report center, where all these reports are being built from. So currently, if we go to our report writer, you can see here I have a lot of customized reports that I have created. If I were to just go ahead and hit up the pencil icon on any of these, you can see this report builder here at work. So this is where I can go ahead and add things like, paragraphs if needed, address tables, estimate tables, stuff like that. Here, I'll go ahead and create one from scratch. We'll just call this a sample report. And turn it on. Let's go into an existing report instead. All right, and let's say I want to, so this is the buyout report. I have pretty much a paragraph already inserted. I have an estimate table already, and then I have my little estimate table here as well. The only thing I don't see here is a chart. So maybe I want to show a chart here to give me more better insight and information on everything. So yeah, that's going to be my buyout projected there. And if I go ahead and save this now, we can then go and generate our report accordingly. So yeah, just like that, I added a pie chart to this, and now it's giving me a pie chart of my materials costs, my labor's costs, my subcontractor equipment, and other costs as well. And it's a good visual aid to have when creating my proposals for submission and stuff like that. Yep, so that about wraps it up. The other tidbit of advice I will give you is the calendar. The calendar will also give you the ability to synchronize with your existing calendar, whether you use Outlook or Gmail, whatever the case might be. You'll sync up your calendar, so any bid due dates or anything you can really start to keep track of and know when to submit by. And it even gives you email notifications telling you when a bid is about to, when it's nearing its due date. So I definitely emphasize utilizing the calendar to its full extent. But yeah, other than that, I believe that about wraps it up.